Yo guys, good news is here. The Chapter 20 sneak peek finally came out from the official website, and since Chapter 20 will officially come out on the 18th, it's normal for a sneak peek to come out earlier than usual. Without further adu, the leak begins with the badass Ryu releasing iron sand that looks like a hurricane. However, since the efforts that could be made to eliminate Ryu's iron sand have been lost because it was previously stuck in Sumeaka's body, Mitsuki inevitably has to take over by spamming his snakes to attack Ryu while also disrupting the iron sand, which allows him to control their bodies for the second time. Yes. But if we look more specifically, this seems like Mitsuki's Sage mode is at a different level than before. You try to see well how Mitsuki can cut, split, or something like that, Ryu iron sand with his snake. But if indeed Mitsuki has been able to break free, or even already knows how to counter Ryu's iron sand, then it is likely that the method he uses is the same as when he fought Boro. If we take a quick flashback to Team 7's fight against Boro, there's a moment where Boro uses a virus made up of tiny particles or fragments to restrict Mitsuki and the others' movements. But thanks to Mitsuki's genius, he used a small snake to extract Boro's blood and turn it into a neutralizing agent. Now, if Boro used virus particles and Ryu used iron sand fragments, does it make sense why Mitsuki was able to break free from Ryu's iron sand control, guys? But if they had originally understood the workings of the Ryu iron sand that could control their bodies, then it would make sense if Mitsuki really brought out the maximum potential of his Sage mode. Because once again, the iron sand seemed to be cut by the snake bite of the Sage mode. Moreover, you must remember during the Chunin exam, although Mitsuki admitted his defeat against Shinki, his lightning element technique was still able to counter Ryu's iron sand. So it seems that even though Araya's sword has such a huge impact, I'm very sure this will be the perfect rematch between Mitsuki and Shinki, with Mitsuki in his divine tree human form. And if in fact, Mitsuki has unleashed the potential of his Sage mode, then this is right, guys, if no help will come to their aid. But especially Konohamaru, I'm still optimistic, as I said in the previous video. Konohamaru will show his existence as a Junin and will show the real plot twist, whether it turns Kagebunshin or something like that, but either the Sarada team or Konohamaru himself, they will fight to turn their situation around. But according to you guys, what will Konohamaru do? Will he put up a fight, or will he even treat Matsuri well as an advantage if he can control Matsuri's mood? Which one do you think is the most relevant, guys? Oh yeah, back again to the battle between Ryu and Mitsuki. And after Mitsuki was able to cut Ryu's iron sand easily, then without hesitation, it was Mitsuki's turn to strike back. But as usual, Ryu's fighting and defense skills are absolutely not to be underestimated. Every time Mitsuki spams his snake to attack Ryu, he can always avoid it. But unfortunately, before we get the next leak, the one-page leak only ends here. So first of all, maybe from this leak, we cannot be absolutely disappointed, or even because it does not answer the curiosity that hangs in Chapter 18. Because in Chapter 18, something that becomes an interesting point is on Kawaki, Amado, and even his daughter, who is likely to become a new threat. And although the leaks don't show any sign of the answers that will happen to them, but let me give a speculation and assumption that maybe this will make sense. Over and over again, because Boruto's story has a slow pace, I suspect that it's most likely possible if Kawaki and even Amado are not in Chapter 20. But instead, Code will take their place to appear in Chapter 20. Or even we will see Gaara's rescue attempt. Disclaimer, guys, I'm not claiming that this is absolutely true. But based on the slow pace, then this possibility can happen. Moreover, if this is about Code, who last appeared in Chapter 15 with his last known condition of leaving a Shinju dimension with a severed arm, then this is the perfect time to see Code's next role. To be honest, guys, this will be something interesting, especially since Code is also a villain who now has a different goal and is certainly not in control of the monster he created. Instead, his position is actually under the control of the monster he created. Besides, guys, after missing chapters 16, 17, and up to 19, now is also the right time for him to show his role. There would be several possibilities that would happen and something for Code to do. Either he recovers his broken arm or he finds allies to help him with his mission, or he'll even do it by himself. But whatever it is that will happen, Code will certainly have a significant role in Chapter 20, while replacing the roles of Kawaki and Amado, who in the previous chapter hung about the karma that will be implemented into the daughter's vessel. But when it comes to Gaara, I'm a little doubtful that Gaara will stay inside the seal for much longer. With his injured condition, if he stays in there longer, he might die. But again, this is a serious problem because the only way to break the seal and get Gaara out is Shinki or Ryu itself. But if it has to be Shinki who frees Gaara, then the probability is so low, especially since they may not be able to defeat Ryu. But if one of the alternatives is the Araya sword, this is also difficult, especially since Ryu has already managed to get rid of the sword. But according to you personally, what are your predictions in Chapter 20, guys? And in conclusion, with such a slow phase of the story, I seem optimistic that in Chapter 20, Kawaki will once again not appear in Chapter 20, and instead we will see the next code plan, or there will be another plot twist that will happen to Gaara. But if you're still expecting Boruto to help, I highly doubt that Boruto will come to their aid. Boruto will help them, but most likely not for now. And perhaps the last one is the cover. Yep, who do you think is the most relevant character to fill the cover in Chapter 20, guys? But if I may assume, there are two candidates who will fill the cover in Chapter 20. Konohamaru or even Code itself. What do you think, guys? Thanks for watching. Like and subs. I'm Nim. See you in the next leak. Bye bye, Data Bio.